Hi guys, Claudia, Boleyn here, and welcome to day 4 of the lockdown vlogs. So I hope you're still enjoying these. I'm enjoying making them. It's giving me something to do during my day. So as always, if you have anything that you want me to talk about, anything you want me to say on your behalf, just put it in the comments, send it to me on Twitter, and I will try to get it done for you. So as of today, as of making this, Boris Johnson has tested positive for coronavirus, so he is our Prime Minister. You probably know that. If you're not from Britain, then that's our Prime Minister, the dude with the kind of blonde, messy hair. That's our Prime Minister, unfortunately. But yeah, he's got coronavirus, so that's quite a big deal. I think he's gone into isolation. I think Matt Hancock, the Health Secretary, has got coronavirus, so we're going to find out very soon whether the government were following their own social distancing measures. I remember, I think it was, I don't know if it was like a week ago, but it was when like the coronavirus stuff was starting to get more serious. Boris Johnson said that, oh, I'll still be like shaking hands with people because that's a good thing to do. Like, he went to a hospital with patients with coronavirus and was like, oh yes, I was still shaking hands. And like, I don't know, I think he was trying to be like Princess Diana or something, but like it's not a good thing to do because you can spread coronavirus through germs on your hands, and now he has coronavirus. So yeah, hopefully he will make a speedy recovery. I don't like the man. I wish he wasn't our Prime Minister. Career-wise, I wish for bad things to happen to him, but not on a human level. Last night there was the clap for the NHS thing, which when I first heard about that I was a bit kind of sceptical and I thought that's a bit cringy, but actually it was really nice. We went outside at 8 PM last night and you could just hear this clapping, like from the distance, like an echo of clapping, and there was this noise of like, I don't know if people were hitting pots and pans with spoons and things. There was that sort of noise. And so we kind of went outside and our neighbours were outside and everyone was clapping, and it was actually really nice and heartwarming. It was a lovely moment, and then I came back in and realised that probably a great chunk of those people that were clapping for the NHS had probably voted Tory. I think you can do both things, not vote Tory, clap for the NHS. Those things, like, they don't make sense together, in my opinion. But a lot of people were saying, oh, you know, we shouldn't clap because what we need is funding for the NHS. We need people to vote for parties that are going to protect the NHS, aka the Labour Party. That's true, but you can also clap as well. I support the Labour Party and I clapped and I liked doing it. I think it's nice for key workers and NHS workers to kind of hear that, and it kind of boosts morale a bit. But yeah, there is some serious cognitive dissonance going on because you'll have people who will vote Tory still out there like, oh yeah, we're clapping for the NHS, hooray, hooray, as the Tories like slowly strip the NHS to pieces and privatise it. Like, it doesn't make sense, but oh well, there's nothing we can do about that. Okay, so I'm going to get straight into answering some questions because that's what I do every day. I'm going to try and keep this one a little bit shorter because I have got some work to do today. So, Plundering Desire 1 asked, as an English grad myself, I'd be really interested to hear what you're doing for your dissertation. So, I've done mine a bit weirdly because mine is an English Lit and Creative Writing degree, and I did like 2 parts of the course in the same year because I wanted to do it faster. And because my grades were quite good, like, not to blow my own trumpet, but my grades were quite good, so they let me do it. So I actually did my final part of the course last year, and I'm now doing this sort of weird midpoint, like through, it's like the first half of the 3rd year, but I did my last part of the 3rd year last year. It's all very confusing. But at the end of my last year, I had to write a 30-minute play. It had to be fully formatted and everything because of the creative writing side. That's what I did, and I wrote a play about a hostage situation, and someone got murdered on stage. It was fun. Maria asks, I love these daily videos so much. Thank you, Maria. Do you ever lose hope of finding a partner because of your mental health? I've been struggling with schizoaffective disorder since I was a teenager. I'm now 26. I'll be 26 in a month. And I thought I'd never be able to start my own family. Flash forward, and now I have a marvellous wife and a baby on the way, all while I am still sick. She loves me either way. That is so nice to hear. I don't necessarily like lose hope of it, but I feel like I have procrastinated it a lot. So I don't feel like, oh, you know, I'll never find someone. I feel like if I wanted to find someone desperately, I could do that. But I don't really have the motivation because, like, in my head, I feel like I would like to be with someone. But also, I'm someone who likes my own, like, space and doing my own thing. And I don't know, maybe I self-sabotage a bit. Like, when I get talking to somebody on Bumble or something, I kind of, like, drift out of it. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I love that everything's going so well for you because I really do want a family. when I was younger, I thought I wouldn't want to have kids because I thought, I hadn't really thought about doing adoption or anything then at that point. But I thought to myself, I don't want to have kids because I don't want my kids to have the same like mental health issues that I have, because I didn't want a child to go through that, because it's like really unpleasant. And like, you know, I do have my good days, but I still sometimes sit here and think like, you know, I wish I hadn't been born, which sounds a bit dark, but it's fine, I'm dealing with it, I'm here for the long haul now. But I didn't really want my kids to go through that. And then I kind of realised as I got older, as I got a handle on my own mental health issues, that maybe I would be able to be a mum at some point, with support from my partner and obviously my family around me. And then I started to think maybe I might be quite good at it, maybe, I don't know. I might adopt a child. I like the idea of doing that, because there's so many kids that need somewhere to go and people to love them, and I'd like to do that. So I can kind of, that is part of what I want now, but it's not, I don't feel like my future's kind of set in stone. Like I can still see my future branching off in different ways. I still don't think I've set myself on a path to the one future yet, so I don't know what's going to happen in the future. But I'm kind of okay with that. I don't feel like low self-esteem that, oh, I could never find anyone like I did before, because I think before I did my BPD therapy stuff, I was thinking, oh my god, who's ever going to put up with me, that kind of thing. You know, because I thought, oh god, I'd be such a handful and someone would be looking after me, and I worried about that. But then after doing my BPD therapy, I realised that lots of them had partners, and actually you just need to have somebody who is understanding, and there's things you can offer them as well. Like I am very heavy on the empathy and emotions, and like, yeah, that can be a difficult thing, but also that can be a really good thing. And also my experience with mental health issues means that potentially I could help them if they're low, and it would be good if I had a child who was different or felt in any way, not just mental health. I might be able to help them a little bit. I don't know. I think that the one thing about that is, it's not so much having a partner, it's with having a child, is that I kind of feel like the struggle is that with the BPD, obviously one of the symptoms is suicidal ideation. So like it's kind of like this undercurrent of feeling suicidal all the time, which I'm actually okay with now. Like I just am kind of used to it, and I know how to distract myself from it. I know when it's going to get bad. But I kind of feel like having a child would have to be a huge decision. I'd have to be completely ready. Someone like me would have to be completely ready, because I feel like once you have the child, you've made that commitment to absolutely put them first, and I feel like those feelings would have to just, I would no longer have that, it sounds bad to say it, but like it's almost like a safety net that if things got really bad, I could just kind of exit stage left. But I wouldn't be able to do that if I had a child. So I feel like I'd have to be completely ready and dedicated to them, because once you've had a child, that's it. Like you need to be there for them for as long as you can. Natasha Holenstein from last time says, Catherine Howard is my favourite queen. I was a bit put off by her portrayal in Six the Musical at first, because she was portrayed as kind of a player, but in her solo song, especially the last half, they delve into the more tragic aspects of her relationships. There's still some stuff they didn't discuss, but I think it was clever how they presented her as a stereotype, but later revealed the abuse she suffered. Definitely give it a listen. I think I'll listen to it after this, actually. I'm intrigued by that. I do think that sounds very interesting. It's so nice to hear that Catherine Howard is your favourite queen, because I feel like she does not get enough love at all. Like, obviously, Anne is my favourite. There's Anne. There's Anne. And there's oh, Anne's necklace. Also my necklace. There's Anne stuff all over the place. And where is she? I don't know if you can see her. I feel like over there's something Anne related, but it's just out of shot. But yeah, obviously Anne's my favourite, but I do think that Catherine Howard is so underrated, and I think people, I know, I feel angry on her behalf, because I feel like not only at the time did she suffer because of the sexism at the time, but to this day, the sexism in our storytelling and everything is still contributing to that myth. So she still can't be like accepted for who she was. Like people still aren't seeing her clearly, and that's what bugs me so much. And you know, I talk about sexism in storytelling all the time, and something I go on about, and I have gone on about in one of these vlogs, is like the sexist portrayal of Elizabeth I in The Day of the Doctor. But I feel like, especially when it comes to historical women, famous women, that at the time suffered from that sexism, like it's kind of a duty of the later ages to free them from that, and that's whether they were good people or not. Like I feel like that's kind of a duty when we look back, just like how like if there's gay people in the past, then we would hopefully now portray that aspect of them respectfully and accept that. The thing that bugs me so much is that people still think that Catherine Howard had an affair. We don't even know for sure that Catherine Howard actually physically had an affair. It might have been that she just liked the guy, that she liked Thomas, and she was writing him letters. Like, we don't know that for sure. Like, I feel like we've just done her such a disservice as a society, and we should be doing better, because we're supposed to be all about, like, women's rights now, but people still don't care. I saw on Twitter the other day, someone had made, like, a comedy list, like, you know how people do those, like, funny meme type things, and usually it's fine, but it was talking about, like, the 6 wives of Henry VIII, and it was, like, making them all into, like, funny caricatures. But that still bugs me, because we're still not at a point where those women are viewed as full human beings. They are already viewed as those caricatures, so I get really testy about it. Whenever I see it, I'm like, stop doing that, because they were real women, and all of them suffered because of, like, the sexist time period they were in. Like, they all seriously suffered because of that. Yeah, it really bugs me to this day. So I am a proper killjoy when people are trying to make historical jokes. Morgane asks, any tips for people struggling with isolation who don't really have any friends they can call? I just think entertaining yourself, maybe reading, is good. Audiobooks can be nice. I mean, I don't know if that sounds a bit sad, but I do this sometimes. When I feel a bit lonely, I like to listen to audiobooks, because actually when I'm reading, I like to read for myself. Like, I'm not a fan of audiobooks because I like to imagine the voices and everything and the pacing, and I just like to do that in my own head. But if I feel lonely, it's quite nice to listen to an audiobook. It's nice to listen to a human voice telling you something. And ASMR and, like, watching YouTube, which you already do because you're watching this. I will be here, by the way, hopefully, every day if I can. So, you know, check in here, and I can check you're okay. It'll be nice to have a couple of messages from you. Maybe just get more involved in a sort of online community, like the nicer parts, Twitter, I don't know, Facebook maybe? Do you have Facebook? Facebook's a weird one. At the moment, I don't tend to do most of my socialising on there. It's kind of more my mum's generation that are on Facebook, so I feel a bit out of the loop there. But yeah, maybe I would advise social media and, like, listening to audiobooks and watching YouTube videos, watching TV, just anything that makes you happy. That's really bad advice, but you're not on your own, because I think there's quite a lot of people who either don't have anyone to call particularly, or there's someone who finds it quite anxiety inducing to call people. That's something I've heard a lot of people say to me, that yeah, they technically could call their friends, but they get very nervous about it. Alana, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Alanak Marie says, sounds like you had food poisoning. It can take a while to kick in. I'm glad you're feeling a bit better now, though. Thank you. Yeah, I think it probably was food poisoning. I don't know what it was. I feel fine now. I feel absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with me now. Yeah, I think I just ate something weird. I was wondering if it was frozen peas, because I had frozen peas that we've had in our freezer for a really long time. But Mum says you can't get sick from frozen peas because they're frozen. I don't know. I blame the peas. Sarah A says, what hobbies have you picked up or are picking up during the lockdown, or are there any hobbies or activities that this has given you the time or the urge to try out? I actually am a strange contradiction, because I have lots of time, technically, but creatively my days are not going very successfully, because I am worried about stuff and I'm trying not to be. So the way to not be worried is distracting myself. So I distract myself by watching TV, watching Netflix. But that means that I can't actually, like, focus on the creative things I want to, because my brain just isn't doing great stuff. Like, I say that, like, I can sounds like such a cop-out. I'm going to actually speak to my tutor about this as well, but it's like, when I'm sitting down to do serious work, my mind is just racing and I'm stressed. And I'm not even doing particularly well in my own creative writing for myself, really, because if I had the capacity to do that, then I'd be putting that energy on my course stuff. I can only, at the moment, I'm kind of functioning on very, like, low-level stuff, like sitting there watching Netflix or classic Emmerdale or something like that. I do want to do some more painting, some more art on my iPad. I do cross-stitch. So I'm going to hopefully do some more cross-stitch. Actually, Mum and I are both going to do painting, because Mum went to art college and she's a good painter. Like, she's actually much better at art than I am. But she hasn't painted for a while, so she wants to do some painting. Mum went to art college as well, which is funny, because I originally went to art college after I had a breakdown. So the plan was never to go to art uni, but I had a breakdown and couldn't go to the uni I wanted to, and then I thought, okay, I'll do an art course, because I've always liked art. I got an A for A-level art. And then I had a freak out there as well. Couldn't do that either. But we both did art college. We both like art, so we'll probably do some painting. And we were planning to do, like, a big family still life thing, like the group of us, the 5 of us. So me and my mum, my grandma, my granddad and Dan. We were going to sit at the big table and do a still life, but that's probably not going to happen now. I guess we could do a virtual still life, but Layla Boleyn says, hello fellow Boleyn. Hello Claudia, are you into astrology? Do you think you fit the description of a Taurus? I don't know. I think that I was actually supposed to be an Aries. I don't know if I was born early or late. I will find that out. Riveting information. I'll find that out tomorrow. I kind of do fit a Taurus, I think, because from what I understand of a Taurus, they are stubborn, and I am very stubborn. They're kind of lazy. I mean, I'd say I am physically lazy. I'm not mentally lazy. I get a lot of stuff done, like, creatively, but physically, I do struggle to motivate myself, like, to go out and do exercise and all that kind of stuff. It's supposed to like, Taurians are supposed to like aesthetics. I like aesthetics a lot. Oh, this is what it says here. The Earth Sign Collective are practical, stoic, determined, ambitious, and materialistic. Taurus are famous for their stubbornness, but there's more to them than that. They're a bit of a dark horse. Ruled by the planet Venus, they share her traits of beauty, artistry, hedonism, and a love of luxury and comfort. I am stubborn. I'm not practical. I'm not stoic. I am very determined and ambitious. What was it someone called? Oh, one of my tutors, what was it they called me? I wanted to get one of my pieces remarked. It was, in fact, I don't know if I've told you this story, it was a piece of fiction, and it was about Anne Boleyn, and it was from her perspective, and it was like her last days in the tower. And if I do say so myself, I think it was rather good. And it wasn't my usual tutor I had. He was sick, so I got an extra tutor, and we always get like critique on our work. And I got it back, and my score wasn't that good. And I thought, this is a lower score than my other stuff. So obviously I went to the critique part and like what he said, because I often like doing that. A lot of people don't like criticism. I actually kind of do if it's from someone who knows what they're talking about. I don't like random criticism from people. But I like it if it's from someone like who knows what they're talking about and it helps you like improve. Like with writing, I think that's helped me a lot. But yeah, he was saying things like, he was trying to fact check me on Anne Boleyn with stuff that he was blatantly wrong about. So I was like, I actually got so into this. I was determined that I was not going to have my marks put down because of his historical inaccuracy. So I put together this huge essay-like thing with sources, pointing out all the bits that he said were wrong, pointing out they were in fact historically accurate. And it was a long process, but I got it reassessed. I went up 17 marks. Yes. And my tutor, the original tutor, who hadn't marked it because they were ill, what was it they called me? They called me relentless. That's true. We're supposed to enjoy beauty and artistry. Yes, hedonism or hedonism, I don't know how to pronounce. I know what it means, I just don't know how to pronounce it. A love of luxury and comfort. Yes, but don't we all love luxury and comfort? I don't know what I think about star signs. Sometimes I think, oh, they're so accurate. Because you kind of want them to be, don't you? But then sometimes if you read someone else's star sign, you realise that any of them could actually apply to anyone at any time. I don't know. Little Elf Queen says, have I listened to any poetry from Button Poetry on YouTube? No, I haven't. Sorry if I feel like I'm sweating so much. It's not that hot in this house, but because I'm sitting right in front of this window, I feel like I'm melting. I haven't listened to any poetry from Button Poetry. I will check that out. And you were asking me, have I put any of my stuff online? You'd be interested to read it. I haven't. I used to on my old Tumblr blog. I used to put a lot of stuff on there, like a lot of poetry that I really liked. And then I got, I had a breakdown in 2017, and I tried to delete myself from the internet, so I deleted my Tumblr. Which is a silly thing to do, but I did it in a spur of a moment thing, so I lost all that. I've still technically got, like, poems and all that kind of stuff. I'm actually putting together a website. When my course is finished, it will be easier to do it, but where I can put all my like creative writing, all that kind of stuff there. So not just for me, but for publishers to see it and just to kind of show people what I'm about. So when that's up, I'll link it to you. I'm only going to do one more for the reason that it is so hot, but I will be here tomorrow. I will answer any of the ones I haven't answered today, don't worry, and any more that you have. So Dodo isn't dead. Dodo isn't dead, what a name. How do you deal with online hate / passive aggressiveness, etc.? I have a hard time distancing myself from that sort of thing. Do you have any tips for that? Online hate I am okay with. Oh, I almost knocked my hair clip out. It's a little butterfly. I'm okay with that because I think because I was so ill when I first started doing YouTube, I was kind of like detached from life anyway. So I used to get a lot of hate, and I used to get like these weird videos people would make, always like faceless, really inappropriate and weird. just basically just ripping into me and all that kind of thing. And it didn't even bother me, and I feel like it probably would bother me more now than it did then. But I just kind of became very used to it. As a personality, I'm quite unique because this is something I only realised when I spoke to other people about it. I get very upset if the people I care about and people I respect say bad stuff about me or we have a fallout. But if it's someone I don't know, I don't really care, if that makes sense. I mean, I do, like, obviously want people to like me. I think everyone wants people to like them. But it doesn't, like, really get to me. I think the thing that gets to me is if it's someone I know or respect, and then it, like, breaks my heart into pieces. How do I do with passive aggressiveness? I tend to call it out, actually. I mean, I have dealt with so many people, especially since starting YouTube. I've had a lot of opportunities that I didn't think I would get, because I'm just someone who makes videos in my bedroom because I couldn't go out. I've had opportunities and I've met quite a few people, and I've noticed that there is a lot of passive aggression in certain groups, and I've had several situations where I've had to deal with passive aggressiveness and kind of meanness but disguised, sort of like that's weird. That's like a weird thing to deal with, because it leaves you second guessing yourself and thinking, like, did that person just mean that, or am I being too serious? Like, am I misinterpreting their tone? Is that person trying to, like, imply something here? Like, what's going on? This is not helpful to you because it's so vague. I'll talk about all this stuff at length at some point, I'm sure. But I do think the best thing is to, like, call it out or play dumb. That's what I like to do. So if someone is passive aggressive, I just pretend I don't realise they're being passive aggressive and just go along with it, and I think they find that really frustrating. And I wish I'd done that more in the past. Or if it's on, like, a public platform and it's someone, you know, with a platform themselves, something I've found in the past is just immediately call it out. So a lot of people would just ignore it because they don't want trouble. But I think if someone does something, says something to me that I don't like the tone of, I just usually say, like, I don't like the tone of that. I'm just really straight with it. Like, I don't like the tone of that. Or what do you mean by that? That's what I tend to do anyway. But I don't know what to advise in terms of emotions, because everyone deals with that kind of stuff differently. I suppose you've got to ask yourself whose opinions you care about, whose critique you care about, what's important to you. And just kind of keep that in mind. That's what I do anyway. It's like the critique thing, where if my creative writing tutor has or had to critique for me, then I would take that on board, because that's someone who is knowledgeable about the subject, someone who can help you get better yourself. But if it's just a random person that doesn't know anything about the subject, then I think it's okay to just say, okay, and then don't listen to them. That's what I think anyway. Okay, I'm going to go now because it's super, super hot. I will see you tomorrow at some point. I don't know when it will be out, but I'll get it done and get it edited, and it will be there for you. So, hope you're still doing okay, and that you still have toilet roll in your houses. Alright, I love you loads. Bye!